I'm so sorry that I didn't upload yesterday. I wanted to watch Girl Meets New Year's when it premiered, so I watched it and I'm ready to do a review for it now. And I'm also sorry that this is going up so late. I had to watch the episode so many times to make sure that I got everything in and like sorted out my thoughts and that like I was making sense. You know what I mean? Like I had to watch the episode to do my research. It was like a college final. I decided to keep filming here because it's so festive and like, why not? So let's start off with a recap of what happened in Girl Meets the New Year, or as some like to call it, Girl Meets Texas Part 4. The episode opened with Riley and Maya finally discussing what happened at the campfire in Texas Part 2. Riley assumed that it was a kiss, but Maya informs her that Lucas just grabbed her face and looked at her really close. But she also informs her that she didn't hate it. Then Riley puts ketchup on her mac and cheese, which why, Riley? Why? There's a parallel here between this episode and Girl Meets the New World. It's the quote that Riley is saying to Maya, which Maya said to Riley in New World. Until we talk about, nothing is ever going to happen again. So of course in New World it was about the kiss and first date, and of course in this episode it is about the face grabbing in Texas Part 2. We then see that Harper is back, Harper the English teacher. I was so happy to see her. I love her character and I think she's so important, and I hope that in season 3 we will see a lot more of her because she is fantastic. So when the scene opens we see Harper writing, "Does love make sense?" on the chalkboard. She's teaching them the book Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. There are two girls in this book and one of them is driven more by sense and one is driven more by sensibility. Sense is good intelligent judgment. Sensibility is when emotions get in the way of that. Now Maya and Riley are noticeably uncomfortable as they realize that this is sort of a mirroring their lives, and Maya suggests that they read Hop on Pop by Dr. Seuss instead. Charlie mentions that he saw the movie version of this book and says that he observed that for a relationship to really work you need to have both sense and sensibility. So in the book, and also with Riley and Maya, we see one girl hiding her feelings and concealing them because she feels that that makes sense, and the other girl has more feelings than she even knows what to do with, so she's overwhelmed by sensibility. Farkle then asks what happens to the character that knows the truth, and Harper says that he dies because he's driven to madness, and poor Farkle, but this leads to a funny moment with Riley and Farkle. Riley's like, "Good!" and they're like, it's just like a cute little teasing moment. Maya wants to know what happens between the two girls in the book, and Harper says that love often comes at great cost, and that the relationships that seem the strongest are the most tragically torn apart. So then we see Maya and Riley in Topanga's cafe, and Riley suggests that they throw a ball just as the characters in the book did. Charlie appears out of seemingly nowhere and is the first one to find out about the party. When Riley says that he is indeed invited, he does this bow thingy and then she does this curtsy bow thingy, and it's all very, I don't know what to call it, really. As Charlie leaves, Riley says, "He never makes it easy, does he?" And Maya's about to say, "Speaking of tough decisions," but she gets cut off by Lucas and Farkle. Lucas asks about the party because Charlie told him about the party. And Charlie comes back all of a sudden, again, and says, "What's interesting is who's with who at midnight." And Farkle grabs Riley by the arm and brings her outside, similar to the way she brought him outside in Texas Part 3. He tells her that she has until midnight on New Year's Eve to tell everyone how she truly feels about Lucas, and he explains that he's doing it for her, not to her. I think that's a really important thing to note. He also mentions the horn of Gabriel. When the angel Gabriel blows his horn, that's the end of everything. So if Riley doesn't tell, the horn will sound, which will be Farkle doing what he thinks is right. The scene ends with Farkle saying, "Heh," which was by far my favorite moment, well, one of my favorite moments in the entire episode. I love that they brought that back. Next, we are in Corey's classroom. Can't have an episode without a good Corey Matthews lesson. And once again, the words on the chalkboard are friendship, growth, and feelings, which obviously parallel the show itself, with season 1 being more about friendship, season 2 being about growth, and most likely season 3 being about feelings. Corey explains that we form friendships before we truly understand what friendship means, and we grow before we even understand what growing means. But we never truly understand feelings, we just feel. Feelings can tear apart and undo friendship and growth. Every moment in history comes from people feeling something and then acting on those feelings, or sometimes being smart enough not to, is what Corey says. Farkle and Lucas then asks if that will be on the test and when the test will be, and Corey replies by saying, "Every day. Life is the test." Then we have Harper, who says, "An untamed heart can be reckless, and sometimes harmful to yourself and to others. But pure intellect, never following your heart, is a life unlived. As Farkle says, you need a balance of sense and sensibility. The most important word in there is and. Sense and sensibility. Now we are at Riley's ball, or party as we would call it today. The entire class is there, and Topanga advises Riley that she should treat them right, as she will be spending the next 4, maybe more years with them. Farkle and Smackle come to the door in these adorable matching sweaters. So Farkle says, I'm with this genius, and Smackle says, I'm with that genius, I think. They might be switched, but they're so cute, I can't. Smackle once again attempts to hug Riley, while Farkle reminds Riley about their deal. Tick, 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 tick. Farkle says that who you're with at midnight determines how you will spend the upcoming year. Oh, Farkle. Then Lucas comes in, and I love this continuing storyline that the writers have going with him and Smackle, where they have this sort of like teasing thing going, but like Lucas is kind of the victim because Smackle's always like, stop smothering me, man. Why do you love me? Why are you my third wheel? It's so funny. I love it. Lucas then sits with Maya, then Riley joins them, then Charlie, seemingly out of nowhere once again, joins them and comments on how awkward things are gonna be. Thanks, Captain Obvious. Charlie introduces himself to Corey and Topanga, and he finds the couples game and decides that they should play that. Well, not Corey and Topanga, but like him and his friends. And then Corey and Topanga have this nice, cute moment, complete with juice boxes, about how no matter what, they will always be together. Charlie asks Riley if she wants to play the couples game, and Lucas immediately gets in there. He gets somewhat defensive, but he does agree to play. So we have Charlie and Riley. Charlie and Riley, did I say that right? Charlie and Riley, who knows? Lucas and Maya, and Smackle and Farkle. Game doesn't really go that well, and it only succeeds in making everything a lot more awkward. Lucas gets really up in arms, and then Maya's like, why are you up in arms? And Riley's like, I just don't want to say anything about anything, and Charlie's all like, I know everything about Riley, and it's just a mess. So Riley announces the game is over, and Farkle's like, why? Because you know secrets are dangerous? So that leads to Riley once again dragging Farkle out of the room and up to the roof, and everybody follows except for Maya, who stays on the couch sitting alone. Which honestly broke my heart into a million pieces, but it ends up okay. Riley tells Farkle that she just needs more time and that she's lying for her friends, not to her friends. Then Farkle fires back saying that he doesn't think she knows what she's doing. But then he goes to say that none of them really know what they're doing, but he only knows that they should always tell each other the truth. Like, that's the one thing he knows for sure. Corey and Topanga sitting with Maya and helping her out, being like parental figures, was the sweetest thing. They explain that things don't really get any easier and that you have to stay close to the people that you can trust so that they can put you back together when you feel like a mess. Meanwhile, Charlie and Riley, why is that so weird to say? Charlie and Riley reach an understanding that they shouldn't be together at this time. So then Riley sits alone, and Maya comes up to the roof and joins Lucas. Maya asks Lucas if she's ever said anything nice to him, and he says no. So then she tells Lucas that it's 1 minute to midnight and she's glad that he's the one standing beside her. And he says that that makes up for everything. Augie and Charlie count down till midnight, and this is the first time that Augie has made it to midnight on New Year's Eve, but at the count of 3, he passes out. Well, doesn't pass out, he falls asleep. But you know, people say pass out and they mean fall asleep. But all of a sudden, when we get to the 1, Farkle says, Riley still loves Lucas. In true Riley fashion, she proceeds to go up the stairs, take out her New Year's Hold on, let's try that again. In true Riley fashion, she goes up the stairs, takes out her New Year's Eve noisemaker, blows it, and says, Happy New Year! Then Yogi says, thank you for a wonderful evening, and they all scurry out of there, except for the core 4 and Smackle. Farkle apologizes to Lucas and Maya and hopes that everyone can forgive him. Then he and Smackle leave, so now we just have Maya, Lucas, and Riley. Those 3 sit down together on a bench and have a sort of somewhat awkward silence, though there are a few words spoken, but it's mainly an awkward silence. Now to my thoughts on the episode. Now before I get into this, people, I know that some of you are not going to be happy with the things I have to say, but I want to make it clear that I am neutral on ships. I am watching the show for what it is. I'm observing it purely for what it is and what I see. There is no bias in this. I do not care who ends up together. I do not care about any of that. I'm saying what I saw. So do not get mad at me and do not unsubscribe if you disagree with me. If you disagree with me, leave a comment below. Keep it respectful. I would love to hear your opinion. I will consider your opinion. Just everybody chill. I will now proceed to talk about my thoughts on the episode. My thoughts! They're not endgame, they're not just chill, okay? I'm so scared. I think that by having Maya, Riley, and Lucas together at the end of the episode was foreshadowing that although there's still more to figure out, they're always going to be friends. I think that's just going to segue into the third season. Like, it's not resolved. Nothing right now is resolved, but I do think they are a step closer because of Farkle. Farkle, here we go. I am going to talk about Farkle. I am Team Farkle here. I do believe he did the right thing, and here is why. I think that what Farkle did helped more than it hurt. Sure, some people might be sad, some people might be a little bit angry at Farkle, but in the long run, I'm so certain that what he did was good, not bad. Farkle values everyone's happiness. He cares about all of his friends. I am so tired of seeing this nonsense that he doesn't care about Maya or that no one cares about Maya. He cares about Maya so much. And he did this to help Riley and Maya. I will get to it. The truth is, the honest truth is, that nobody knows what they feel at all. They are middle schoolers just trying to sort out this crazy, messy thing we have called life. Like, honestly, Farkle knows that Riley is unhappy and that she is hiding her feelings. None of these friends should be happy at someone else's expense. The situation was a mess already, and Farkle helped the situation by letting the truth out. Feelings can tear apart friendship and growth. If Riley had continued to hide her feelings, what kind of friendship would that be? Yes, Maya hid hers, and I'm 100% sure that if Farkle or Lucas or Riley or anybody knew that she was hiding those feelings, that they would have done the same thing that Farkle did in this episode for Riley. The thing is that no one knew. No one knew that Maya was hiding their feelings, but it is known that Riley likes Lucas. Riley and Maya deserve to be honest with each other. A friend's happiness doesn't come before your own. Friendships are mutual, and both parties deserve happiness. And you can't grow if you're keeping your feelings inside. Now, had Farkle not said something, the wedge between Riley and Maya would have just continued to get bigger and bigger and bigger. We were already seeing a little bit of awkwardness and uncomfortableness between them because of the situation and because they weren't being honest with each other. So Farkle helped that. Now, people seem to think that we don't have any clues as to how Lucas feels in this whole thing. To me, it is evident that he likes Riley. He has made that clear many, many, many times. In this episode alone, we saw him getting defensive when Riley was with Charlie. We saw him getting upset when Riley knew Charlie's favorite snack. He was clearly interested in what Riley was doing. We have consistently seen him made his feelings for Riley very, very clear. But that's not to say that he doesn't care about Maya. He definitely cares about her, strongly cares about her. He wants Maya to be happy. And I think that's where a lot of this confusion is coming from. I think the lines of platonic feelings and romantic feelings are being crossed and blurred, which makes sense because they're in middle school. Meanwhile, it's evident that Maya has feelings for both Josh and Lucas, and I think it would have been really interesting to see Josh in this episode. I hope that Uriah is feeling better. It'll be interesting to see how that whole thing plays out, and I think we'll probably have to wait till season 3. Now, Charlie, I think, was coming on a bit too strong, and I don't think that him and Riley were the right fit. He was sweet and sensitive, but like at the same time, why just creepity creep? Unpopular opinion, I don't know. Charlie just, what are you doing, man? Like, he's always like, hey, I heard you're free. Like, dude, back up like 20 steps. So I was glad that him and Riley had a proper and mutual end, but I don't think it's the end of the end. It's just the beginning of the end. Wait, let me start over. Rewind. I think it's good that they reached a mutual understanding and that for now, they're ending things. But I feel like Charlie's gonna come back. And hopefully by then, he'll learn that he doesn't need to be such a creep about it, that he can be sweet and sensitive without being like overbearing. All in all, a relationship needs sense and sensibility. It cannot thrive on just one. So here's my question for you guys. Do you think that Riley represents sense and Lucas represents sensibility? Do you think that the writers are hinting that they belong together because they balance each other out? Or do you think that Maya and Lucas have so much passion between them that they'll get together and sense will eventually find its own way into their lives? Do Riley and Farkle represent sense and sensibility? Leave your thoughts below, but do not disrespect anybody if you have a different opinion. It's okay to ship and it's okay to care about your ship, but it's not okay to take that to a personal level or be rude about it. That's not okay, and I do not want that on my channel. And if I see it, I will remove it. I did jazz hands. You couldn't appreciate them because they were cut off, but I did them. The thought was there. Right now, things are just a mess. Just like life. I mean, when you're in middle school, life is kind of a mess. So it's all gonna be okay, so let's all take a collective deep breath. It's all good. I love you all. Stay beautiful, you people. Bye!